I think that the state of Florida, to an extent, it was just like ready to boom with Roundnet. Just someone had to jump in and do it and put something there. My name is Dominic Orlando, and I'm the founder and owner of Florida Roundnet Association. When I started getting into the competitive scene and wanting to play more tournaments, I was always having to travel out of state to go to these tournaments. And it just came a point where I was like, all right, I'm kind of done traveling to go to a tournament. So let's just try to figure out how to run a tournament so I can play in one here in Florida. So I think that it was a piece of like, I just want to compete here. But I think very quickly it became like me realizing, man, there's a gap in what could be something in Florida. Definitely tried to do the most amount of work that I can before tournament day. Right. Tournament day, I just want it to be about the tournament. But there's still some things that I like to do that morning. So usually for the most part, the car is pretty much packed up because that takes a while actually to pack up all this stuff. And I'll get ready, make sure I've got everything. I usually will have like a list in my notes, making sure, all right, I've got this, like a checklist. The one thing that I'll sometimes do on my way to tournament is stop at an ATM to get cash for prizes. Right. I don't know why, I just maybe prefer to do that the morning of rather than a day before. So, and then I get to the tournament and it's unpack the car as quickly as possible, get everything on the field, usually recruiting a few people to help me, and then it's time to paint some lines. When the tournament actually starts, we've got pool play where teams will play against each other for a couple hours. They play against maybe 4 or 5 or 6 teams. And then they break for lunch, and then we're back in bracket play for the afternoon where they get seeded and then play against other teams to fight for that number 1 spot. So last year was incredibly pivotal. Because we had, I think, 11-ish players get Premier throughout the course of the year, which before we had 0. So going from 0 to 11 players is a lot. And for those now to be the players where other people, when they go to other states and can say like, hey, I'm Premier status from Florida, people get a better idea of like, okay, yeah, Florida's got some players, and they can play well.
So my name is Austin Chikatilov, and currently I'm a Premier spike ball player, and I'm transitioning to becoming a professional pickleball player. And I am currently ranked number 2 in Florida behind my good buddy Hayden Flood, who is very deserving of the number 1 spot.
So yeah, Austin and Hayden really set the tone, I think, for us last year. Like they're a little bit on the, pretty intense side.
Yeah, you're a fucking animal! Come on! Well, you are a man amongst kids. Let's go!
But I'm okay with, like, hey, if that's how we're going to play and we get wins, like, that's fun,
Exactly.
To, like, kind of get Florida's name out there and players to follow because of it.
I feel like people didn't really look at Florida Roundnet as a serious entity, and shout out to Dom for putting it all together and really getting behind making it an actual thing where we're having tournaments every single month and we're getting all the best players in Florida together. And we knew that we had a bunch of good players, and we would see other good Florida tournament like people at these other tournaments like in Georgia and stuff, and we felt like we could compete with some out-of-state people really well. So for us to get Premier first as the first Florida team was definitely legendary. I think it was cool. And obviously everybody who followed in our footsteps just totally brought to the forefront how amazing Florida Roundnet really is and how talented some of the guys are. For me, I'm biased. I would say it's top 5 community for sure. And I'm not even from a talent standpoint. I would just talk about from a total vibe standpoint, because the Florida vibes are different. You know this. So the thing that I love about the Florida Roundnet community is everybody's so friendly, and with Dom starting the whole Discord thing, it's made it really easy to find pickup games wherever. And I know you came to Daytona a couple times and played, and so when you're trying to practice with somebody before a tournament, you can just hit up the Discord, and you have all these different hubs. And I love the system because you can just communicate with people in your region and always find at least 4 people to play. Usually you can get 2 or 3 nets going, which is wonderful. So the Florida Roundnet community is awesome. I think they've been super supportive as far as when Hayden and I were Oceans West and we came up with that whole thing, and we were really trying to be top level and be some of the best players in the world.
So this year as I've been thinking about like, okay, well, how can I help this or how can I help this organization grow and do better than it did last year, invite new players in, raise up new leaders. I think a big piece of it is me realizing that I can't give as much time as I want to in order for it to grow as much as it is. Like, while I'm the founder and owner of it, I don't do this full time. And while I consider this maybe a part-time job / still full-time job, it's not like what's, giving me a living. So it's just hard for me to like give as much time to it as is needed for it to grow where I want it to be, So that means I like need to restructure a lot of things in order to make sure that I can still handle that trajectory, even if it means that my output is and energy and effort is lower. Which means I think bringing a team around me, which has been already incredibly helpful, guys that can walk alongside me and pick up different roles, pick up some slack that I like leave behind. So I think that's a big piece of it. I think even too is trying to like just have a full continuous layout of the whole season. Like, this is how it's going to go. This is what we're building to, is a state championship at the end of the year, which is the one big thing, is the first ever Florida state championship, which I'm excited about. And what that will do too is what we've done in the past is just like, all right, here's the layout of the next few months. Come to a tournament, whichever ones you can, and then we'll see how it goes. And that's good, and players can look forward to it. But I think when players can look at a full season schedule and be like, this one, I want to go to, and man, if I like start here, then by the end of this tournament in October or something, I can be like, this good, or I want to make it to this. They can set goals for themselves. They can plan ahead. So I think those two main things are going to really help the season, is restructuring the season layout and the tournament layout, and then bringing a team behind me to help grow the organization.